Welcome everyone, welcome. My name's Agostino. I'm thrilled you could join me here today on this webinar on how to start investing in real estate in 2023. Now, I know many of you may be feeling uncertain about where the market is right now. We got crazy interest rates, asset prices, home prices are extremely high right now and record levels in some cases. And we just don't know what the market will bring. But I'm here to tell you that real estate investing is still very much possible, even in today's market. Now, the key is not only having the right mindset, but it's also about having the knowledge and the right plan of action. And of course, sourcing the right deals that make sense for you and your investment goals. So in this webinar, I'm going to go through and the strategies here on what I would do if I had to start all over today and build a portfolio right from scratch. Now, before I get into it, I'll tell a little bit about what I do and what I've done over the last 20 some years. I started way back when with single family and small multifamily. That's how I did it. I started just acquiring one at a time and really learning the ropes. But it wasn't really until 7 years ago where we made a real big push into commercial. It started really establishing the relationships that would help us raise the capital necessary to start doing syndications of our own. So I started raising money and acquiring assets, multifamily assets, okay? And at that point, we're now at about 1,600 units in and around the Cleveland market. I'm a real big believer in focusing on one market and getting a lot of assets in one market. That's just my strategy. Aside from that, we also do adaptive reuse of office buildings, basically office conversions to multifamily, and ground up development. We do that too. And the third line of business is single tenant net lease. So we acquire Dollar General, Dollar Tree, VCA animal hospitals, things like that, right? There's a corporate guarantee that's backing up the deal. And then of course, something that's near and dear to my heart is helping people just like you get into the real estate game. That's something that we do. And I never had that when I was first starting out. It's something that I had to learn the hard way to do. But now I help other people just like you get into the real estate game. All right. So now, let's get into the topic today. So here's what we're going to cover, all right? How to get started with little money down, creative ways to find profitable deals. We're going to cover that too. The steps to analyzing properties and identify good investments, as well as how to build a team and build a knowledge that you're going to need to build success in the space, especially given where we are in the economic cycle. And we're going to cover much more than that too. So my goal is that by the end of this webinar, that you're going to feel very well equipped to get fired up and ready to take action on your first or maybe even your next real estate deal. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So first, how do you start investing in real estate today? Really the first step to real estate investing may sound obvious, but you need to get your financials in order, your personal financials. This means maybe saving up some cash, building up some savings in your personal account, improving your credit score. These things are absolutely crucial, okay? Even if you plan on investing with very little money down, okay? So what does that look like? Maybe you want to set a budget, start building your savings account, okay? Shoot for having at least 6 months of living expenses so you have cash set aside just in case you need it, okay? What else do? You pay off any high interest debt that you might have, okay? Your credit card, that kind of thing. So try to get that in line as well, right? Get current on any bills you might have, right? And then, of course, opening up additional credit cards will help you with your credit score. Now, you don't want to go crazy with opening up way too many cards all at once. Sometimes if you're planning on opening, like, say, 3 cards, do them all at the same time. They're there not so you use them, but because it impacts your debt-to-income ratio is what it does, right? So the more credit you have available to you, it drives down the overall debt that you might have. So maybe you get those credit cards, put them in a drawer, don't use them, right? That helps keep your overall debt to income very, very low and improves your credit score, right? Just in case you do use your credit cards, okay? Next, get pre-approved for a mortgage. So shop the lenders and aim for the best rates and terms you can possibly find. These days, it's going to be a little tough, right? But there are still lenders, there are still banks that are still lending, right? Because here's the thing. Certain banks, they're obligated to still keep lending in certain markets. Okay, so even when times are tough like they are now, they're still lending. So be sure to reach out to them and don't just take one or two, get multiple pre-approvals. Okay, go ahead and do that, because here's the thing: you're gonna take the hit on your credit score, or rather the inquiry. You're gonna take the hit on the inquiry. So if you're getting like 3 of them or even 4 of them, it's only going to count for 1 inquiry, right? So an inquiry doesn't really impact your credit score all that much, but if you're going to go through it, have it show for 1 instead of 4 over some period of time. Okay. Now consider using a first-time home buyer program if you're buying a primary residence. Now they can offer some down payment assistance too. This part is absolutely crucial, because if you get into a small multifamily, a 4-unit, for instance, okay, you're able to live in the 1 unit and rent out the other 3. And the cool thing about it is, with these other 3, they will count towards your income, which is really cool, right? So when you go and actually go get the financing needed, right, not just the pre-approval, but the actual the letter that you're going to submit along with your offer, you're going to actually get qualified for it, right? So that could be absolutely huge. That could be huge. But once you get your financing in orders, you're primed for real estate investing. So that's time to start surrounding yourself with the right people, the right investors to help build your knowledge. Now, here's something you can do, okay? Attend those meetups. You see them on meetup.com, okay? Eventbrite has many meetups too, okay? They're usually free or some sort of low cost, right? Pay the money, get in there, all right? It's usually, like I said, it's maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 bucks, whatever. It's well worth the price of admission if you're going to meet people that can help change your life. How ridiculous does it sound that you don't want to spend 30 bucks to have, someone change your life? It doesn't sound right, does it? So go ahead and do that. If you're in an area where there's a RIA, all right, a Real Estate Investor Association, it's a great way to, as a first step, to get around people just like you that are looking to get started and looking to grow. And who knows, you may find your next partner in one of these events too, okay? Conferences, there's always conferences happening somewhere, okay? Usually towards the end of the year, the winter months, things tend to slow down a little bit. November, December, usually things tend to slow down. A lot of them move online, and that's okay too. It's good for your education, right? But try to get the in-person ones. I think you get a lot more out of an in-person than you would with a virtual, okay? But the intent is try to connect with other people and other investors that maybe you can work together on deals with, okay? What else can you do? You can join online communities. There's the bigger pockets is the usual suspects when it comes to certain deals too. But we have a community of our own, a Bulletproof Cashflow. We show other people how to get into deals for real. We also have masterminds that help people get into the space as well and build success. I like our mastermind because it's a 50-week mastermind, 50 weeks that you are communicating with like-minded individuals. You're sharing your deals, you're sharing your knowledge, and you're getting immediate feedback on whether a deal works or not. So it helps reduce overall risk, and you don't have to worry about, oh my God, someone's going to steal my deal. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. We don't do that in our mastermind. It's a no-no for us, right? And besides, you know what? I think when you're attacking a deal with a group of other folks, myself included, I run all these groups personally. So I'm there too, helping things along, right? So my intent is to not let any of our students, any of our mentees get into a bad deal, okay? What else is there? Reading books, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, just help build your knowledge. Don't let your brain trick you into thinking, oh my God, I'm doing great things just because I'm watching a podcast. It's cool you're watching a podcast, but action always rules, okay? So what does that mean? Finding a mentor, like I said a second ago. Find a mentor, get in front of the right people, and build the right community around you to help build the success that you're going to need to actually acquire your first deal. The idea here is to build up your skills, but also to see what's possible. When you surround yourself with other people that are successful in doing real estate deals and you see what's happening, you're spending time with them, it's amazing what it does. It changes your overall mindset. I remember when I first did my first $1 million deal, it was just over $1 million, actually it was 1.4 million. I was scared to death. I was scared to death. But you know what though? It's now I won't even do deals that small. I mean, we do deals like that small when we're talking. Our net lease deals are usually about that much. But you know what? It changes your whole mindset, because I got around other people that were doing way, way, way bigger deals, and it shifts your whole mindset, right? The key though is that I was always very careful to deliver value, right? Always deliver value. So never make it just about you, okay? Deliver value at the same time, okay? Next, what do? Spend time researching real estate markets and the investment strategies necessary to determine what your focus is going to be. So maybe what you're doing is you're looking at specific areas, and when you do, you're trying to find the metrics of that area and understand what makes that area so special. So maybe it's like, maybe you're looking at the population and the job growth. Okay, that's a constant. You're always looking for nice population. Like I like good population and job growth. That's one thing I truly love that. You're also looking at the home price to rent ratio. Okay, certain markets have a very decent home price to rental ratio, meaning here in Cleveland, for instance, you can buy a nice single family home for $95,000. That $95,000 home may rent for about $1,400 a month, right? That's a good ratio right there, right? But that's Cleveland. Other markets are tremendously high. They're probably like, say, $150,000, and the rents are the same, $1,400. Well, I mean, there's the whole 1% rule, right? Which is a good rule of thumb. But you also have to consider other things as well, which we'll get into here in a second. What else do you look at? You look at the recent market trends in the forecast, or the new jobs coming to that market. What's happening in that market? Are people leaving the market? Are they staying in the market? Are there new jobs coming in? So things like that. You also look at the legal stuff as well, meaning how friendly is that local area to landlords. So it's not just about red state versus blue state or anything else like that. This is even more granular than that, because certain cities, certain areas even, are way more friendly to tenants than they are to landlords. So be aware of those certain things, and they present themselves in various ways. Maybe there's a rental registration. It's another shakedown is what that is. Lead paint assessments every 2 years, like lead grows back. It's ridiculous, right? The things that these guys come up with. However, you got to know what those things look like, okay? You got to know what they look like. So, but really, when you're looking at these things, consider both your local market and areas outside of your state. So think about whether you want to pursue like lower price single family homes, like I touched on a second ago, or multifamily properties. Maybe you want to do a flip, or a bunch of flips, or wholesaling. Whatever the strategy is, make sure it's based on your goals and what you want to do, and make sure that your team that you're going to build is aware of those things. So you can stay consistent to the strategy and hopefully hit your goals. Okay. Now, what's next? Finding the financing. So now you've got your finances in line, you built some knowledge, you have a focus. Now, how are you going to find your deals, right? How are you going to fund them? Well, let's get into that. So here's some things to consider. Those traditional mortgages. So, oftentimes the best rate and terms, you'll get those if you have really good credit, which is why when I opened this webinar today, I spent some focus on good credit. Even on commercial deals, even when it's commercial, they still run your credit. They still look at your credit, and it's your overall lending will get impacted if your credit is just not there. So it's important to try to keep your credit score fairly decent. Okay, it's important that you do that. So what else is there? There's FHA or other first-time home buyer loans that allow for a low down payment. Okay, so just be careful not to get over leveraged. All right, that's the key thing. All right, so there's that. But you know what? It allows you to get into a property and cash flow it. Like I said before, I love the whole fourplex notion of getting into a unit and getting the other three to pay the mortgage down. It's beautiful. It really is. Okay, what else can you do? Private money loans. This is when you get funding from other investors at it's going to be a higher rate. And these days, you know what? You're looking at a 10% rate, 12, 15% sometimes. So just again, be very careful about using private money loans. It's not meant for long-term type of scenarios. It's meant for a very short-term type of deal, okay? And then you can also take on partners too. Partners to help you combine your resources from everybody and bring some money to the table to get that deal over the line, okay? There's syndication is another way to set that up too. It's also one and the same, but basically what you're doing is these partners come in, they invest the money, and as the asset produces revenue, you're giving it back to the investors over time, okay? That's the general consensus, that's how that works. What else can you do? Home equity line of credit, okay? So when you use equity in your current home, use a HELOC to pull that money out, a home equity line of credit to pull that money out, and you invest it, okay? And again, be very careful when you're doing this kind of thing, all right? Don't pull out every single penny and throw it into another deal, because then if you do that and the one deal fails and your home fails, and then you lose everything. Be very careful when you're using these tools. And again, there's certain ways of setting all this up, and when you surround yourself with the right people, it can certainly be very helpful when you're doing that, okay? In terms of applying the right tools to get you to where you want to go, okay? How else can you do it? Hard money loans, I mentioned that earlier. There's asset-based financing, right? So what that means is that they will collateralize a certain asset that you might have. So maybe you'll get a better rate on a loan by collateralizing your car or other assets that you own outright, okay? Other creative ways, seller financing, have the seller provide the financing to you is another great way to get a deal closed, right? There's seller financing. There's also land contract, which is similar but different. In seller financing, the seller gets to hold the note or the deed of whatever it is that they're selling, but in a land contract, or rather that's land contract. But when you're seller financing, you actually hold the deed and you're just making the mortgage payment to the seller. So it's one and the same. What else is there? You could refinance and pull the cash out for the next deal. There's many creative ways of doing it. Creative financing is especially key, especially today, because right now when rates are going crazy, the economy is going nuts, creative financing is a great way to get deals done, okay? But the goal here is to try to buy property, to try to buy assets, which is with as little money out of pocket as possible. So, there's many ways of doing that, and we'll cover more of it as we go. But you know what? When you're in a market like we are today, creative finance strategies are used tremendously more than traditional methodologies. So that's a really cool thing. So now we talked a little bit about finding the money. Where do you get the deals? That's going to be the next thing, right? So discovering the profitable deals in real estate really comes down to sticking to a process. So let's talk about the three process system here, the bulletproof system here that we have, all right? Number one, you got to generate leads. The more leads you could find, the better the odds you're going to have of finding the deals. So where do you get your lead sources? You can drive for dollars, all right? Target your neighborhoods that you want to go after and drive around and look for the tall grass, look for the signs, for the for rent signs, look for maybe the doors are all messed up, the windows are smashed or whatever, look for some deferred maintenance, and maybe the mailbox is full, right? Maybe the mailbox has newspapers coming out of it, right? All kinds of junk mail coming out of the mailbox. I'm sure we've all seen that before. That tells you have a tired landlord. It's also an opportunity for you to maybe take that property off their hands and breathe some new life into it, right? What else is there? Direct mail campaigns, right? Direct mail campaigns are certainly not cheap, but they can be effective if you're able to hit that person at the right time with the right message, okay? That's what it comes down to. Listen, I get a ton of those messages all the time, right? But you know what? Usually that has like a 2% response rate, okay? Maybe like guys like me will just throw them away. Other people, maybe they just happen to see your message, and at that specific time, something's going on in their life where they have to get rid of the property like right now. And if your message says you can close fairly quickly or you have a solution for them, they'll listen, right? So you never know, right? But like I said, there's a 2% return in terms of response rate rather on mail campaigns, typically 1 to 2%. So it's very, very low. That's why numbers matter. Getting as much of this stuff out there as you can matters, okay? Bandit signs or door hangers are certainly another way to help advertise that you buy houses. Just be careful with the bandit signs. Understand what the legal the legalities around it, because certain municipalities, certain cities, they make bandit signs illegal. They don't like them. Okay, so just understand what that looks like, because the last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of money getting a bunch of bandit signs, going around, putting them all over the ground, and then next thing you know, they're all picked up and you get a fine, So just be aware of what that is. And if you do put them out there, try to find a way to get them secured so they stay out there long enough that, you can still get enough eyes on them before they're removed by somebody, okay? What else is there? There's online sales sites like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, the MLS, you got Zillow, you got Redfin, you got a bunch of other places as well. There's also different lead sources as well. You just Google lead sources for real estate. I think there's Prevo as well as another one. Tons of places. Just, again, be careful about, understanding, I guess, that many of these other people have already called on those folks too, okay? My favorite, connecting with real estate agents. The real estate agents, the real estate brokers, they're the ones that have the deals. They're the ones that have the deals, okay? And they will bring you the deals if they believe that you can close. So it's about building the credibility, building your personal brand, making sure that you come across like you know what you're talking about, okay? What else is there? Number 2, you have to analyze your deals, okay? So you have to, any potential deals you find, okay, run the numbers to see if they make sense. Make sure you have a solid process for analyzing rental properties or analyzing flips. And again, if you don't know how to do that kind of stuff, okay, in our mastermind, all right, themultifamilyadvantage.com, we go through that. You have a calculator. We show you how to use the calculator. We show you how to run the deals. And you can share your numbers with the entire group, and we'll give you feedback on that deal too, right? So we tell you if it's a good deal or not. We go through and we run the numbers on the area. We compare how do the other assets trade for in that market, right? What does the upside look like? These types of things, very, very important. So it's good to understand that. And if you can get into it with a group of people that genuinely care about seeing you succeed, it makes it well worthwhile, okay? Number 3, make offers and negotiate, okay? So this is where you pursue the best leads with good offers, okay? You got to put some low offers out there, right? But you know what? You have to do your analysis and know what the ARV is, the after repair value, okay? So after you get in there and you fix it up, are you going to be able to get some value out of it, okay? And you have to base your number off of that. So, but it really comes down to submitting many offers and negotiating for the best price, okay? So this 3-step system puts you in control of the process. The more leads you can generate and analyze, the faster you're going to find a deal, okay? What's next? Finding direction. So as a new investor, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we've already covered already. We're not even done yet, all right? But that's why it's important to have focus and a direction. Okay, so here are 2 ways you can do that. Number 1, follow a proven plan. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, in real estate, it's been around for thousands of years, believe it or not. But if you follow a step-by-step process based on what experienced investors have done successfully, you can win too. And secondarily, get support and guidance. That means having the right mentors, the right partners, the right people that can ask questions and get a nice solid response, and they give you input about you and your business and what you can do to make it better. But no matter what, you don't need to go it alone. Like I said, themultifamilyadvantage.com, go there, check it out. I mean, there's all kinds of great tools that you can use and great groups out there that'll help you succeed. So on my journey, I can tell you that I found invaluable direction by surrounding myself with others who were further down the investing path, who were further down the real estate path. And they really did help me from making costly mistakes, and they really helped me build the momentum to get to where I got much faster. Could never have done it as fast on my own. There's just no way, So check out themultifamilyadvantage.com. All right, check that out, okay? Because we built a whole community around around real estate, of course, right? But helping people get into the game. They can build the right support system, they have the right mindset, they have the right practical knowledge to shave off years off your learning curve, okay? Because at the end of the day, surrounding yourself with the right people is really all the difference in the world. And I've talked about surrounding yourself with the right people, experienced investors, makes all the difference, right? So let me get into this concept a little more. It's absolutely vital you fill your inner circle with people who are positive, motivated, and knowledgeable about real estate investing. So here's some ways to do that. You can attend meetings like your local REIA, your Real Estate Investors Association, right? If you just Google REIA, R-E-I-A, you'll find them on Meetup more than likely. Eventbrite has meetups all the time. REIA, whatever local area you're in, you can find them there, right? But this is a great starting point for many, many people to at least get your feet wet in the space, okay? Go to the real estate conferences and make some new connections there. Another great way to meet people and talk to them. Participate in online forums. And this part requires you to actually, engage on a very, very regular basis. Because when you're on those online forums, those groups, those Facebook groups or whatever, it demonstrates that you're out there, you're putting yourself out there, you're open to learning and growing, and you get to interact with other people too. They get to challenge your mindset, and hopefully you're able to expand your own mindset in doing that, right? What else can you do? Bring on a mentor, okay? There's experts in our group. Like I said before, in the Multifamily Advantage, I'm delivering all the content personally, right? So, you're not dealing with someone who's never done it before. I'm actually doing it. I still do it today, right? What else can you do? Partner up with other investors to gain the experience and help really reduce the risk across the board. But the people you surround yourself with end up shaping your mindset, your habits, and your results. So you have to make it a priority to build your community and learn from those who've already achieved success. So with their support and their wisdom, it's going to be tremendously invaluable. It really is, okay? So what's next? You got to know what a good deal is. So this is an essential skill in knowing how to analyze a potential deal and identify a good one. So rather than going with a gut feel, right? I mean, there's certainly some level of gut feel when you first walk the property. You need to know how to run the numbers so you can make a smart, data-driven decision. So here's some key factors, okay? The repair estimates and the ARV. So what is the after repair value going to be? How much money is it going to take to get into the ARV? I mean, we often like to think that we can get to a number and somewhat be optimistic about it, but I like to actually have estimates, like real repair estimates from qualified contractors, maybe one or two or maybe even three of them. Hard to find these days, I know, but you know what? It's like if you're able to do that and they all come in at about the same number, then chances are, you could probably get it done and you can feel good about the number. If one guy comes in super low, the other one comes, super high, that's going to be tricky, right? It's going to be tricky. So, because you don't know what the real number actually is, right? Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, don't know. What else? The purchase price, okay? Is it well below the actual repair value, right? So you have to have room for that profit. You have to have room for profit, okay, is what you're looking to do, okay? What is the expected rental income? Okay, will the rental income exceed the expenses each month? Okay, so you want to know that that's going to happen, right? You have to know what the expenses are. Taxes, insurance, maintenance, all these things, especially when it comes to taxes and insurance. These two things are moving extremely rapidly these days. All right? Insurance is going through the roof right now. So before you commit to doing any type of deal, know where the insurance is going to be, what that number is going to look like, okay? Make sure you know that ahead of time, okay? What else? The down payment. Can you finance that deal using some sort of creative way of getting it done? Some lenders these days are looking for, they're only doing like 65% leverage, 60% leverage. Maybe they'll do 70. So maybe you have to go the creative financing route. So it requires just less money to put down into the deal, okay? What is the expected cash flow? How much money will you net each month, okay? And that's going to be absolutely key. And then, of course, what does that expected return look like? Like, are you gonna exceed or at least hit your minimum goals when it comes to how much revenue you're generating? So take the time to get very comfortable to analyzing deals in your chosen market. Okay, know the numbers and only pursue those deals that make total financial sense. So Never rely on your emotions or your gut, okay? I mean, it's good that you do that once you go walk the property and do all that stuff, but it's going to require you to look at a lot of deals. You'll probably look at 100 deals, maybe even more, okay? Some of my students, they've looked at 5, 6, 7, 8, 800 deals already, And the cool thing is that now they know right from just looking at a listing if the deal's going to work or not. So that's the cool thing about it. So what do pro investors do these days? Well, many successful real estate investors rely on special software or tools to analyze data quickly and easy. So rather than complex spreadsheets or anything else like that, they use these all-in-one calculators that really make deal analysis super, super easy. So these online sheets, these calculators really help with improving or getting a handle on the income, the expenses on the deal. They can easily run analysis with a single click. As soon as they put the information in, just select what they want to see and it just does it. They can see the instant the cash flow, the cash on cash return. Maybe even what the real true cap rate is, not the cap rate that's reported by the broker, the agent. Right? They can easily compare different scenarios side by side. You're gonna see some of that stuff as well. So this type of spreadsheet, these types of software, it reduces the complexity from deal analysis, and it often pays for itself in the very first deal. So don't be afraid to spring some cash for a good deal analysis sheet. I think it'll make all the difference in the world. And again, it also depends on the type of asset you're looking at too, right? So clearly you don't want to use a syndication multifamily sheet if you're just going to be flipping houses. Spend the money on the right tool for the right job. Okay, it's very important. But after you see the power of these calculators firsthand, you're going to be very confident that they will fast track your investing success, because you're going to be able to basically check out what a deal might look like, if you analyze it properly. So that's how I did it. When I first started, I bought one of these sheets and I was using it all the time, just running and practicing deals. That's how I was able to find all my deals. Is once I got that good and that familiar with the sheet, I was able to run so many deals, very, very quickly, and it helped me really uncover many deals out there, right? So it's a great opportunity for you to learn how many of those sheets work. There's plenty of them for sale out there. I don't have a favorite, but find the one that you like best that fits your needs. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, so there you have it. It's a complete walkthrough of how I would start investing today if I had to start all over again, especially with today's market uncertainty. So you have to have the right mindset, the right strategies, the right tools to move confidently in today's market. So my challenge for you is to take action. You can do all the work, you can listen to all the podcasts, you can read all the books, but nothing happens until you get into a deal. So, don't overthink it. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start working towards the goal, okay? You have to really commit to continuing your education in this and surround yourself with positive people, experienced mentors that will really help you with your goals. And like I said before, themultifamilyadvantage.com, 50-week mastermind, it's phenomenal in doing just that, okay? We can certainly help you with that. So wish you all the best in your journey today, all right? So if you got any value out of this, okay, and you're watching the recording, go ahead, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. It helps us out tremendously when you do. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time, all right? Take care.